Hello, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Homeopathic Super Sessions by Dr. Jagos. Today, I'll be doing the second part of Medicine of Experience by Hahnemann, written in 1805. So we continue. Our great master realized the importance of case taking. So in the first part, we had stopped on that if you want a radical cure to take place, or if you want the cure to take place according to the rational system of medicine, that is homeopathy, we have to take the totality of symptoms and we have to individualize the case and then accordingly find the simile. So we go further than that. So our great master Dr. Hahnemann realized the importance of case taking. Now we go to case taking. It is an artistic part of this therapeutic system, and that's why for the first time he writes in detail about case taking. So out here, the artistic part of the therapeutic system of medicine is case taking. So he writes in detail about it. I must quote. So he quotes, if we are not desirous of producing a likeness, we may draw a dozen faces on a piece of paper or canvas in an hour. But a single striking portrait requires just as much time and as much great power of observation and fidelity in the representation. So he says that he's comparing the portrait, that he's saying that you can draw a dozen faces either on a piece of paper or on a piece of canvas, and it may just take a few minutes or maximum an hour. But he says that if you want to draw a portrait which is striking, which is singular, it takes much more time and it takes the great power of observation to represent such an portrait on a paper or on a piece of canvas. So therefore, he's comparing that if you are just haphazardly drawing any pictures on a piece of paper or on a piece of canvas, which can be compared to the old school of medicine with the haphazard treatment. And if you draw a portrait, which takes much time, power of observation, and it takes striking singular curves or designs to represent the portrait. So this is about homeopathy. So therefore, it's just comparing the old school of medicine with homeopathy. In homeopathy, we take into consideration the more finer aspects, that is the individualization. That is what he wants to say. After the case taking, he mentioned about what happens when two dissimilar affections are there in the same person. So if you want to read more about it, you can definitely go to Hahnemann's lesser writing and see the medicine of experience or read the chapter on the medicine of experience. He has mentioned examples of two dissimilar affections which are there in the same person. He labels it as the maximum of experience. The term complex disease is mentioned in the footnote of the maximum of experience. So out here also he gives the term or the terminology of the word complex disease, as also he gives in the Organon textbook in the 6th edition. So when two dissimilar diseases are there in an individual, each one will affect the part which is most suitable to it, and it will reside there, forming a complex disease. Then he wrote about the process of knowing the pathogenetic power of various medicines after proving it on the healthy body. So after case taking, after what happens when two dissimilar diseases meet together in an individual, he has now described about the drug proving or how to identify the pathogenetic power of the various medicines. So in homeopathy, we do it by the process of drug proving, by proving it on a healthy prover. Thus, knowing the individual characteristic of each medicine from the vegetable, mineral, or other kingdoms, we should be well equipped to fight against the diseases. So therefore, once we have the knowledge about the pathogenetic power of the drug from various sources, maybe the vegetable kingdom, the mineral kingdom, the animal kingdom, so on and so forth, we will be in a position, or rather, we will be in a better position to fight the disease with this armament of the drugs. The pathogenic power and the absolute true action on the healthy human body in the purest manner can only be seen when each one is given singly and uncombined. That is the law of simplex. So he reminds us saying that the pathogenetic power or the true pathogenetic power of the medicine can only be seen on a healthy human being when it is given in the single simple form without any adulteration or combination. That is the law of simplex. After knowing the pathogenetic power, it is mandatory to know the action of medicine on the healthy human body. So he says that after you know the pathogenetic power, you have to know what action this medicine has on the healthy human body. So the primary actions and the secondary actions are elaborated, described in a vivid manner, and two new terms, the positive and the negative, are used in the relationship to cure. So if the cure takes place, it is a positive. If a cure takes place, it is a positive manner. If cure doesn't take place, it is a negative manner. So he's compared it, the primary action to the secondary actions, and he has given a new terms regarding the positive and the negative cure. The detail about homeopathic aggravation, medicinal aggravation are also written here. So you all know about what is homeopathic aggravation, what is medicinal aggravation. There's no need for me to repeat it. All this has been mentioned out here also. Here very lucidly, he wrote about the repetition of the dose. Too large doses will cause disease aggravation or will cause artificial disease. So he also mentions about the dosage. He says that if you give a large dose, it may cause a disease aggravation or it may cause an artificial disease. That means what? If you do not take the case correctly, and if you only superficially take the case and you give the indicated medicine on a large dose, then what will happen? Either there will be a disease aggravation or it will cause an artificial disease will be caused in the individual because of its dissimilarity. Because you've only taken a part of the case, you haven't taken the totality, you haven't taken the full case in all its dimensions. That is why this will occur. He also mentioned the dose in palliative treatment, which is required a few times. So he's out here, he says that in palliative treatment, in those cases in which the pathology is advanced and the case is incurable, you have to palliate by giving the correct remedy based on totality of symptoms, and also you have to repeat it for quite some time. He also mentioned the different conditions in which palliation can be justified. He also argued that the cure or recovery claimed by the palliative method of treatment can be justified. Here, the natural cause of the disease comes to an end during the period of palliative treatment, provided that the organism has not been very seriously deranged. So, out here he says that if a patient comes to you wherein he's not been abused by the orthodox system of medicine, their medicines, then only you will be able to palliate or give good palliative treatment according to the principles of homeopathy, provided the person or the organism has not been very seriously deranged. Thus, by secondary effects of palliative treatment, the organism resumes its way and gradually overcomes the after suffering caused by the medicine. So, therefore, he says that the secondary effect of the palliative treatment will pave the way to open up the case, and the sufferings of the patient will be reduced. It is to be noted, palliatives have no power to shorten the natural cause of the acute disease. After that, Hahnemann showed the superiority of the curative or the positive type of treatment, which can shorten the natural course of disease and leave behind no after suffering. So therefore, Hahnemann later on, he shows that the curative type of treatment or the positive type of treatment based on the symptom similarity will definitely relieve the suffering of the patient and will cure the disease. Since the dawn of therapeutic system of medicine, many patients got cured quickly and permanently. So when this new system of medicine or homeopathy was introduced, many patients were benefited, whereby the diseases were cured quickly and permanently. It was due to the virtue of medicines given in a single simplex form and not by a mixture of all sorts of different drugs. So why was this possible? Because the cure was rapid, gentle, and permanent, because the medicine was given in a single simple form and not by an admixture of different drugs as given in the orthodox school of medicine. Hahnemann gave enough examples of primary and secondary actions and his practical therapeutic application at the later part. He wonderfully described the higher susceptibility or higher sensibility of the body to similar medicine irritation. Now here, he also describes the role of susceptibility or sensitivity of the individual towards the medicine. The sensitivity of the body to the medical irritation is increased in a state of disease. So therefore, when a person falls sick or when is in a disease state, the susceptibility or the sensitivity of the individual is altered, or in short, it is increased. This can be evident to any intelligent, wise observer or clinician. So he says that this increased state of sensitivity of the body can be known to any intelligent, careful observer or clinician. The exception being the physician of the old school with the materialistic view. So the exception is that he's saying that if you are a physician of the old school in which you have the materialistic view in mind, you will not accept this theory of susceptibility or increased sensitivity. Thus, with the minute dose, one can pave the way to cure by igniting the vital principle, which in turn leads to show the light of cure. So again, Hahnemann tells you that with the single simple medicine in the unadulterated form or in the minute dose, it ignites the vital principle or it stimulates the vital principle, and which in turn will lead to cure, and there will be light at the end of the tunnel in which it is very dark. He also mentions the path sensitives to medicine. The dynamic property is so pervading that it is quite immaterial what sensitive parts of the body is touched by the medicine. So out here he says that the medicinal property is dynamic in nature, so it is quite immaterial where or which sensitive parts of the body are touched by the medicine, because the medicine itself is dynamic in nature. Whether the dissolved medicine enters the stomach or merely remains in the mouth or is applied to the wound. So you can administer the medicine either by putting it on the tongue, or you can dissolve it in water and you can drink up the medicine whereby it goes into the stomach, or it can be applied on the wound or whatever. So there are many ways of administration of the remedies, the most common being the oral route. Our master says that the contact of the medicine substance with the living sensitive, that is susceptible fiber, is almost the only condition for its action. So why does our medicine act? It acts because of the sensitivity of the patient and the sensitivity of the drug. So now we will go forward. That is the last part. The part 3 will be coming up soon. I hope I've simplified it for you in a very simple manner so that you can write it if it comes in as a question in your exam. So I hope it will benefit you all. Thank you very much.